I welcome you all on behalf of Hitbullseye on this fourth session on general awareness. Right, so these are a series of lectures, 5 lectures now on general knowledge for a kind of a booster or a refresher course as far as your exams, upcoming exams are concerned, be it CLAT, BBA, other law exams, etc. The topics rather I'll be taking up today, first of all, is very important, that is history. Right, then I'll be taking up questions from the current affairs from the month Jan and Feb 2017. Right, so your exams will most likely be conducted in May and June, so you have to be prepared as far as your current affairs is concerned up till April of 2017. Right, so in the next session that we'll be organizing, I'll take up the remaining months, that is March and April. I've already covered months from June 2016 and today I'll be doing up till February 2017. Now let's just talk about history as such before we start doing some important questions from the topic. So when you talk about history, again, as the name, the topic as such is very vast, right? So it can be divided into 2 broad categories. First is Indian history, right? Indian history is further divided into 3 parts, rather 4 parts, right? So as we did in school, ancient, medieval, modern, right? And there is one other aspect of Indian history that from where questions are asked, that is culture, right? So as far as these 4 subtopics are concerned, modern history and ancient Indian history are quite important, but again these are only indicative and not necessary that only questions from these 2 topics will come. Of course, you can find questions from all the 4 sections of Indian history. And then we have world history as well. So no need to be scared because world history includes everything. But what you should be conversant with are very important topics as far as world history is concerned. So when you talk about Renaissance, right, that is one, Enlightenment, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, American Revolution, right, and then the 2 world wars and such very important events that you should have the basic idea about. Okay, one piece of instruction before we start doing the questions as such. This is a 1.5 hour long session, right? I have 80 plus questions to do, so lots of work to do. Again, keep your pen and paper ready at hand. Make sure you do not have any distractions around you, especially your mobile phones if you're not using it to see this lecture, right? And also I'll be taking up your queries or questions in 3 different question and answer slots. So we're starting at 6:30. So first question and answer round for 5 minutes I'll have at 7 o'clock, then another one at 7:30, and the remaining queries, if there are any left, I'll take it at the end of the lecture. Now the last time slot for question and answer, that does not have any time limit. I'll answer all your queries before ending this session, right? So keep noting your questions down, the more the merrier rather, right? Also another piece of instruction, please limit your questions or queries to general knowledge preparation, and also within that from the topics or the questions that I'm covering in this particular presentation, right? We've had session on polity and other topics, geography. Again, those questions should have been asked then. Limit your questions to history first and then the current affairs of January and February 2017. Okay, so let's take up the first question of Indian history, rather. Here we go. Who is known as the prophet of New India? Okay, so a lot of varied answer that I'm getting, but actually the answer turns out to be Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Raja Ram Mohan Roy is famous for founding this very important organization called Brahmo Samaj in the year 1827. He was a very modern thinker, and that is why he is also known as the Renaissance man of India. He brought in a lot of modern ideas to the Indian society. One very important book that he wrote was called Precepts of Christ. Right, this was his commentary on the teachings of Christ, Jesus Christ of course, and he was highly influenced by the philosophy and ideas given in Christianity. Next question. The famous October Revolution took place, most of you have the right answer, it's a fairly easy question also, in 1917 in Russia. So till 1917, Russia was under monarchical rule. The dynasty which was ruling was Romanov dynasty, right? The king was Nicholas II, right? The king of Russia was also known as Tsar, right? So Russian term for the king was Tsar, right? So a very famous communist thinker, communist leader rather, Lenin, right? He was the leader of the organization which conducted the October Revolution to overthrow the Romanov dynasty or the Tsar, right? His party was known as Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks, they overthrew the Tsar and founded in place of Russia USSR. So USSR was found in place of Russia. Another interesting bit of for October Revolution is, so as far as our Western calendar or the calendar that we use, it occurred in November of 2017, but it's known as October Revolution because according to the Russian Revolution, the month at that time was October, right? But it actually occurred in November. Next question. Who among the following was the first woman to preside over the Indian National Congress? Okay, great. Good to see that most of you are getting the answer correct. So the answer is Mrs. Annie Besant, right? Annie Besant, of course, was one of the founders of the Theosophical Society in India, right? This Theosophical Society was mainly concerned with studying of Oriental or Eastern religions, right? Later she became politically active also. She was originally from the country called Ireland, right? However, after Miss Annie Besant, the second woman leader to become the president of INC was Miss Sarojini Naidu. So if there is a question asked which Indian woman was the first to preside over the INC, the answer would be Sarojini Naidu. Right. Next, the Arthashastra of Kautilya is a famous ancient work on which topic? Okay, I see most of you are getting confused with regard to this particular question. Kautilya, of course, is another name of the famous advisor of Chandragupta Maurya, the founder of Mauryan dynasty, right? Also known as Chanakya. His real name, of course, was Vishnugupta. He wrote the book Arthashastra. Arthashastra in modern Hindi, it stands for, it translates into economy, right? So economy Hindi textbooks, right, are titled as Arthashastra in Hindi. However, in Kautilya's Arthashastra, the main topic of concern is statecraft or real politics. Real politic. Okay, next. Mahatma Gandhi's first experiment with Satyagrah took place in Anjani and Sema and Astha, you have the right answer. So, Champaran, that is in Bihar. So, Gandhi came back in India in the year 1916. However, for 1 year he did not take part in any political movement. He toured India with his political mentor called Gopal Krishna Gokhale. So Gopal Krishna Gokhale is known as the political guru of Mahatma Gandhi, right? Then in the year 1917 he took up the cause of farmers in Champaran, right? They were being exploited by the landowners. Champaran, of course, is located in Bihar, right? So he went over there, protested on the side of the farmers and got them certain benefits, right? And then next Satyagraha he did in Ahmedabad, right? Ahmedabad textile mills, the mill workers were protesting, they wanted greater wages. Mahatma Gandhi went over there, did a protest. Ahmedabad is the first time that Gandhi took a fast unto death, right? And then the third Satyagraha that he did was in Kheda, that is in Gujarat, right? So first Champaran, then Ahmedabad, and then Kheda. Next, the present Christian calendar is based on the system given by Shivanshi, Shraddha and Sumit. The three first answers that I got, they've got the correct answer. Pope Gregory. The calendar that we are using, the Western calendar, Christian calendar, is known as Gregorian calendar after the Pope Gregory who suggested such a calendar. As far as traditional Indian calendar is concerned, the name of that calendar is Vikrami Samvat. Some people write Vikrami or others would use Vikrami Samvat. Both are correct. Okay, next. The man who did the most for widow remarriages in India during the British era was, right? So, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was a social activist who worked a great deal, wrote a lot of petitions to the British government at that time to legalize widow remarriages, and he was successful also. So the answer here is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Next, the historic complete independence Purna Swaraj resolution of the Congress was passed at, okay, wonderful to see that so many of you have the correct answer. The correct answer is the session of Lahore, right? This was of course held in the year 1929 under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru. Next, Hyun Sang was a famous visitor during the reign of. The correct answer to this particular question is of course the King Harshvardhan of the Vardhan dynasty. Another interesting bit of information. Suddenly our history books have changed the spelling of Hyun Sang. Now he is mostly written as Xuanzang. So do not get confused if this is written in place of Hyun Sang. Next question. Who is called the wisest fool in Indian history? Again a fairly simple question. Okay, most of you have the right answer to this one as well. Muhammad bin Tughlaq of the Tughlaq dynasty. Right? So he tried to shift his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. The idea was to save it from attacks from northern India from the Mongols, right? So he did all that effort, took 3 years to shift the capital there, and then decided to come back. So there were a lot of loss of life and property as such due to this particular move, right? So, and other moves also that he made, that is why he's earned this particular title. Zenith is wisest fool, not cool, although that would be a great title as well. Okay, so which Buddhist book contains folk stories regarding the previous life of Gautam Buddha? Again a fairly simple question, right? The Jatak tales contain stories of Gautam Buddha. They imbibe some moral lessons as well, of course, and according to these books, Buddha had taken birth over 500 times. Next, arrange the following events from our national movement in a chronological order. Let's see the years in which these following events took place. Dandi March, of course, was before the civil disobedience movement, and it started in 1930, right, from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. Then MacDonald Award was in 1932 after the 3 roundtable conferences. Hanging of Bhagat Singh took place on 23rd March 1931. Then Meerut conspiracy case started in 1929. So according to this, the answer comes out to be D, A, C, B, right? That is option number 4. Okay, next, the administration of the East India Company's empire in India was formally taken over by the Crown of England under which law? Okay, again most of you know the answer to this question correctly. The answer is Good Governance of India Act of 1858. Of course, this act was passed by the Parliament, British Parliament, after the suppression of revolt of 1857. Now under this, East India Company lost all of its political and administrative powers, and those were transferred to the British Crown. Right? This particular act was formally called Good Governance of India Act, and also it is known as Government of India Act 1858. Next, the Bhimbetka caves near Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh give us a wealth of information regarding. Good to see that you're answering questions correctly. Most of you, again, the correct answer is prehistoric time. So it has a lot of cave paintings and tools from the prehistoric era that we've found recently. Next, liberty, equality and fraternity were the buzzwords of which of these following revolutions? Again a fairly easy question. French Revolution gave us these ideas. The main philosopher as far as who influenced the French Revolution was Jean-Jacques Rousseau, right? The French Revolution was mainly influenced by the ideas of Rousseau. Next, the Qutb Minar was erected in the honor of, okay, this is a tricky question and most of you seem to have falling for this particular trap. It was erected in the honor of a Sufi saint called Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki, right? Qutbuddin Aibak was the king who started the construction of this minar, right? He could not complete it. His successor, in fact his son-in-law, was Iltutmish. He completed the construction of Qutb Minar. Then again lightning struck this Qutb Minar and a couple of its stories were destroyed. Then another king later on, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, repaired Qutb Minar, added 3 more stories in it. Okay, next, the American Declaration of Independence was signed in. Again, a very simple question. Those of you who watch Hollywood movies would definitely know the answer. The answer, of course, is 1776. So 13 states of the USA formed a federation and decided to fight against their colonial conqueror, that is the British. So they got together, signed the American Declaration of Independence in the year 1776 in Philadelphia, USA. Match the following political personalities with their respective political parties. So let's complete this exercise. P, of course, Sarojini Naidu was from Indian National Congress. Q1, definitely Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the founder of Muslim League, which he founded in 1907, right? V.D. Savarkar, of course, we all know is a great Hindu leader, right? And then Tej Bahadur Sapru was from the Liberal Party. So according to this, option number 1 is the right answer. Okay, next, another match the following. So these are important ancient literature and you have to match them with their respective writers. So Ashtadhyayi, we all know, is a very, very important book on Sanskrit grammar. It is still being used after almost 2000 years of its writing. So Ashtadhyayi is written by the great writer Panini, right? Buddha Charita, right? Buddha Charita, the spelling is wrong. Buddha Charita is written by a renowned Buddhist scholar called Ashwaghosh. So let's see, that makes our answer as option number 2. Alright, next, another question from ancient Indian history. Ancient works of writers Charak and Sushrut deal with, again most of you are getting the answer correct, so great, good on your part. The answer is medicine. So Charak wrote Charak Samhita, right? That is the name of the book, right? Sushrut is also known as the first surgeon of India, right? Sushrut wrote Sushrut Samhita, right? So Samhita stands for nothing but collection of works. Next question, who among the following attended all the 3 round table conferences? Perhaps this question is confusing a lot of you. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is the only person to have attended all the round table conferences from India, right? Round table conferences took place in the years 1930 till 32, right? The basic idea of these conferences were to study the recommendations of the Simon Commission, right? The famous, or rather infamous, Simon Commission, which came to India in 1927. So these recommendations were discussed during the roundtable conferences, and as a result of the report which was published or which was made during these roundtable conferences, the Government of India Act 1935 was formed, right? So roundtable conferences formed the basis for Government of India Act 1935. Next, arrange the following in the chronological order. So let's see the years in which these important events took place. August offer is of course 1940. Cabinet mission plan, right? Also 1946. Cripps mission 1942, and finally Wavell plan 1945. So let's see what answer do we get for this. Option number 3 is the correct answer. Next, in the context of India's freedom struggle, Usha Mehta is well known for So the correct answer as far as this question is concerned is option number 1. So she ran a secret radio during the progression of Quit India movement. As far as this movement was concerned, this was very different from the earlier movement. This was kind of a violent movement. So as soon as this movement was started in August 8th, 1945, all the leaders of Congress, all the freedom fighters, they were arrested by the Britishers. So when instructions had to be passed on to the people who were protesting, this particular radio did the job. They also passed on instructions on how to make crude bombs to cause harm to the British Empire. Next, a simple question. The Taj Mahal was modeled on which of the following monuments? Okay, most of you have the correct answer, that is Humayun's tomb. Next, the British invasion of which area led to the Sepoy Mutiny? Okay, the correct answer in this case is Oudh, also known as Awadh. Right, so Britishers overtook this area, Awadh. This is in modern day Uttar Pradesh. They deposed the king over there on charges of misadministration. Right, so a lot of people in the British army were in fact from Awadh and they respected their king a lot. So this was a huge source of discontent among the soldiers. That is why the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, or more famously known as Revolt of 1857, broke out. So this was one of the reasons for the revolt. Next, which one of the following sites of the Indus Valley civilization had an ancient dockyard? Okay, good to see that most of you have the right answer. The answer is Lothal, which is located in modern day Gujarat, right? So Lothal is a place where we found evidence of active trade happening between Indus Valley civilization, the Egyptian civilization, as well as Mesopotamian civilization, which was located in Iraq and Iran. Okay, next, India became a member of the United Nations organization in which year? India was one of the founding members of the UN, and UN of course was founded in the year 1945. So naturally India became a member at the date of its inception. Next, during whose tenure was the capital of India transferred from Calcutta to Delhi? This is a trick question, guys. I suggest you read carefully. Most of you are answering Lord Curzon. Yes, Lord Curzon is also related to this particular move, but he announced the shifting of capital from Calcutta to Delhi, right? When this transfer actually took place, that is in 1912, right? Lord Hardinge was the viceroy at that particular time, right? So correct answer to this question is 1912. Next, the Pune Pact 1932 was an agreement between, the answer to this one is option number 4, Gandhi and Ambedkar. Now, during the round table conferences in the year 1932, an announcement was made which was called the MacDonald Award after Ramsay MacDonald, the then Prime Minister of Britain. So he gave communal electorate or reservations in legislature based on a large number of categories of Indians, including businessmen, industrialists, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Anglo-Indians, etc. Right? So Mahatma Gandhi was against this particular act and did not want the Dalits to have a separate electorate. But Ambedkar, of course, being a great Dalit leader, he wanted a separate electorate for the Dalits or scheduled castes. So again, Gandhi went on a fast until death to convince Ambedkar otherwise. So Pune Pact cancelled the reservations or a communal electorate for the Dalits in India, right? And in exchange, Gandhi promised that a number of Dalit leaders would be given reservations within the Indian National Congress and wherever they form the government, right? So last question of history. Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev were executed by the British on 23rd March 1931. In which one of the following cases were they implicated? Again a trick question. Option number 4 is the right answer. Lahore conspiracy refers to the assassination of a policeman called Saunders by these three freedom fighters, right? Of course, they were wanted for lobbing bombs in the assembly hall as well, right? So that brings us to the end of important questions from history. I'll take your questions if you have any now. Here you go. Question number 4. Sir, what did Mahatma Gandhi start in South Africa? So Aditya, Mahatma Gandhi was fighting for the rights of Indians staying in South Africa. Lots of restrictions were put on them by the South African government, which was in fact under the British rule at that time, right? So he worked for their betterment. Also, he started experimenting with the idea of satyagraha, right? And in order to have a very simple, austere life, he established a farm called Tolstoy Farm in South Africa. Then Sumit is asking, in whose time did Megasthenes? Megasthenes was of course a great Greek philosopher and writer. He came during the rule of Chandragupta Maurya, right? A very famous book written by Megasthenes, of course, is Indica. This was a book, the first or the earliest text written about India, which has been found. Okay, I'm sorry, Indica has not been found intact. In fact, this is one of the oldest books written about ancient India, but the text has not been found. Indica, we know about the existence of such a book only because it has number of references in Kautilya's Arthashastra, right? Then question number 4 I've shown. Supriya, please check online. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Then Shraddha, again the term satyagraha is used after which Gandhi, when he came back to India, right? Jobanpreet, sir, is your lecture history, geography and economy sufficient for CLAT? Jobanpreet, I'm afraid they are not sufficient at all. They are necessary, yes, you have to go through them, but you have to do other questions as well, right? So I just covered 70-80 questions that cannot be sufficient for your CLAT preparation. So you'll have to do some more sources and questions as well. So we have put a lot of questions on our website gk.hitbullseye.com. You can go ahead and practice doing questions from there. Supriya, Kakori conspiracy is a case of robbery of British goods, gold and money, right? Of course, you must have seen, if you have seen the movie Rang De Basanti. In that case, Chandrasekhar Azad was greatly involved, not Bhagat Singh as such, right? Anjani, question number 22. Okay, Harris, that is incorrect. In fact, CLAT has a large number of static questions as well, and also there is no set pattern as such, right? So you can get more static, less current, or you can get more current questions from current affairs and then less, right? So the pattern is not set as such. Shraddha, that discussion will take a lot of time, so I would suggest just go do Google searches on these. August of a cabinet mission plan. Just read the first paragraph of Wikipedia page which turns up, right? And you'll have a fair idea on the content of these particular plans. Okay. So, any more questions before we move on to the current affair questions? I've shown you current question 19, haven't I? If you are finding it difficult to write along with the speed that I'm going at, please feel free to take screenshots of your phones or your desktops or laptops wherever you are watching this presentation. In the second part of this presentation, I'll be taking up quiz on current affairs from of important international and national events from the months of January and February 2017. So here we go. In January 2017, two new writers, Shraddha and Ghanshyam Kumar Devansh, were chosen for Bharatiya Gyanpith Navlekhan Award for the year 2016. The award is given to young authors in which language for their first creation? So, Bharatiya Gyanpith Navlekhan Award is given to debutant writers in the Hindi language. Next, who among the following is not among the ones who received knighthood by Queen Elizabeth in January 2017 for their contributions? The question is asking you not among the ones. So correct answer in this case is Lord Swaraj Paul, right? He is the British member of the Parliament of the House of Lords, right? All the other received knighthood from the Queen. Next, in January 2017, Kalyan Krishnamurthy was named the new CEO of which of the following companies? Right? This is a fairly simple question. Very high profile transfer, right? Kalyan Krishnamurthy became the CEO of Flipkart after the owner Benny Bansal was elevated to the upper management position as far as the group is concerned. Next, which of the following launched two new initiatives, that is My Business and Digital Unlocked, to train and help small and medium businesses in India capitalize on the digitization wave faster? Again, good to see that you've been keeping yourself updated. The answer is correct, Google. Next, in January 2017, the Kane-Betwa River Interlinking Project received formal environment, forest and tribal clearances. The project aims at addressing water needs of dry swathes in states of, so which are the two states which will receive benefits from this particular project? The answer of course is Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Next, in January 2017, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched PKVY, a skill development program targeted at Indian youth seeking overseas employment to make India the skill capital of the world. So what is the full form of PKVY? So again, most of you are getting this answer correct. Pravasi Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Pravasi of course stands for expatriate or NRI in simpler language. Kaushal means skill, Vikas means development. So NRI skill development, Yojana of course stands for scheme. Next, in January 2017, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated India's first international exchange, India INX, at the International Financial Services Center in which city, saying it will enable Indian firms to compete on equal footing with offshore firms. Again, a fairly easy question, located in gift city of Gandhinagar in Gujarat, right? The first international exchange of India. Next, in January 2017, RBI appointed Surekha Marandi as its executive director. RBI has how many executive directors who are in charge of various departments? Answer to this particular question is option number 2, that is 9 EDs in RBI. At the top sits one governor. He has 4 deputy governors under him, right? Under the deputy governors there are 9 executive directors. Okay, next, in January 2017, the expert group set up to prepare socio-economic and caste census submitted its report to the Ministry of Rural Development, MORD. The expert group was headed by, okay, the correct answer is Sumit Bose. He is the Finance Secretary of India. Next, in January 2017, Antonio Guterres, former Prime Minister of which country, who also led the UN Refugee Agency, took the office as a UN Secretary General. Okay, so again, I think I've covered a similar question in a previous lecture, but anyhow, important question. Nevertheless, the answer is Portugal. Antonio Guterres, the current UN Secretary General, is the former Prime Minister of Portugal. Next, again a simple question but very important one. Who among the following took charge in January 2017 as the 26th Army Chief of India? Right? Bipin Rawat of course takes over from Dalbir Singh Suhag. Next, in January 2017, President Pranab Mukherjee appointed David R. Simle as the chairman of which of these important organizations? Okay, good to see that you've been following the news, right? The answer of course is Union Public Service Commission, that is UPSC. Next, in January 2017, Pakistan's former Army Chief General Rahil Sharif was appointed head of the Islamic Military Alliance to Fight Terrorism, which is a military coalition of 39 nations. It is led by which of the following countries? Right, so this is a military organization comprising only of Islamic countries and it is led by Saudi Arabia. Next, in January 2017, the Supreme Court sacked board BCCI President Anurag Thakur and BCCI Secretary Ajay Shirke after they failed to implement the reforms as recommended by which of the following committees? A fairly easy question. So Justice Lodha Committee was formed to check maladministration and corruption in BCCI. It gave a number of recommendations on how to restructure the working of BCCI to make it more effective and make it more representative. So its recommendations were not being followed by the President and the Secretary, and so they were sacked by the Supreme Court because of this reason. This committee was under Justice Lodha. Next, in January 2017, the Union Sports Ministry constituted a committee to frame comprehensive national sports development code across sports disciplines. It will be headed by which of the following personalities? So a prominent sports administrator, Mr. Injeti Srinivas, is the correct answer. Next, the United Nations General Assembly UNGA declared the year 2017 as the International Year of, you have the right answer, Sustainable Tourism for Development. Next, the National Youth Day was observed on 12th January to mark the birth anniversary of, again a fairly simple question, the answer is Swami Vivekanand. Next, the World Hindi Day is observed on, so the correct answer here is 10th of January. Every 10th of January, World Hindi Day is observed. Next, who won the award for the Best Actor in the 62nd Filmfare Award ceremony held in January 2017? Again, most of you will be knowing the answer. Of course, it was Amir Khan for the movie Dangal, directed by Nitesh Tiwari. Next, in January 2017, multiplex chain operator PVR launched Theatre on Demand service called, of course, name the service, an online platform that enables consumers to watch any movie of their choice at a theatre of their choice. Correct answer is option number 1, Vikao. Right? Next, in January 2017, the Union Cabinet gave its post facto approval for launching of a scheme which will be implemented through LIC during the current financial year to provide social security during old age and protect elderly persons aged 60 years and above against a future fall in their interest income due to uncertain market conditions. What is the name of this particular scheme? Now, even the name suggests Varisht Pension Bima Yojana. Varisht, of course, stands for senior, right? So the point of giving you such a huge statement in the question because I want to cover maximum number of facts. So as far as Varisht Pension Bima Yojana is concerned, it will be implemented through LIC, right? So that is one question. And who would be eligible? That is elderly people aged 60 years and above. And what would be the objective of Varisht Pension Bima Yojana? That is providing a kind of security against fall in interest income, right? So 3 or 4 types of questions can be formed using this particular question. Next, India was ranked amongst 176 countries in the Corruption Perception Index released by the Transparency International organization in Jan 2017. The correct answer, yes, some of you have it right, option number 2, 79th. Again, another question that can be framed from this statement: which organization releases the Corruption Perception Index? The answer, of course, would be Transparency International. In January 2017, the panel headed by which leader submitted its report on revising the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act to Mr. Jaitley. This particular report was submitted by Mr. N.K. Singh, a senior bureaucrat in the Government of India. Now, Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act was passed in the year 2003. It restricts the amount of loans that a government can take, right? So this situation does not happen that one government takes lots and lots of loans in order to do development or otherwise and increases the debt burden of India, right? So it restricts the amount of loans that any government of India can take, right? So this has to be revised now. It is an old act. The committee which would be revising it was headed by N.K. Singh. Next is, in January 2017, Delhi Police Commissioner and Senior IPS Officer Alok Kumar Verma was appointed as the new director of which organization for a tenure of 2 years? The correct answer is option number 1, Central Bureau of Investigation, that is CBI. Next, who among the following in January 2017 was appointed the United Nations in India Goodwill Ambassador for the Sustainable Development Goals? So it was not option number 2 or Sachin Tendulkar. It was Ashok Amritraj. He is a former tennis player and the brother of a very prominent tennis player, Vijay Amritraj. Ashok Amritraj is also a Hollywood director, right? So he was given this particular honor. Next, who among the following was in Jan 2017 sworn in to be President Donald Trump's ambassador to the United Nations? So very important, Nikki Haley. Of course, important only because she is a person of Indian origin. Right, so guys, it's 7:30. It's time for our second question and answer round. So if you have any queries or doubts, please, I'll try to address them now. Okay, I'll show you question number 45. Okay, let me show you question number 50. This is question number 32. This is question number 44 as demanded by Shraddha. Question number 38. Sumit, knighthood is not exactly an award. It is an honor given in various fields by the Queen Elizabeth at this particular point in time. So I have to apologize, I'm not aware of the number of people who got the award at that point in time, right? So you'll have to Google it out, please. Any more questions? Okay, next question from sports. In January 2017, Roger Federer won his which numbered Grand Slam title by defeating rival Rafael Nadal in the Australian Open final. Again, most of you know the answer correctly. Again, it was 18th. Which date was celebrated as the National Girl Child Day? Absolutely correct. So you'll have to be careful about whether the question is asking for national or international, right? National Girl Child Day is celebrated on 24th January 24th January. Next, P. Raghuram won the prestigious BC Roy National Award in February 2017. The award is the highest recognition for which profession in India, right? So the BC Roy National Award is given in medicine. Next, 59th Annual Grammy Awards were announced in February 2017 by National Academy NARAS of the United States. Who among the following won the most awards in 5 different categories, thus creating history by becoming the first artist to win the top 3 categories twice? Okay, again, most of you know the answer to this one as well. The singer Adele. Again, another important question which can be framed is annual Grammy Awards are given by which one of the following organization? The answer would be National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. Next, in February 2017, the Union Cabinet approved Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Saksharta Abhiyan PM Disha to make 6 crore rural households digitally literate. Outlay for this project is, so the answer to this one is 2,351.38 crores. So although it is very unlikely that such a question will be asked, such a purely memory based question will be asked in your exam, but you have to be prepared for any kind of questions. Again, 2 more questions which can be formed from this statement is which program, what is the objective of PM Disha, right? To make 6 crore rural household digitally literate, and also in which field will this particular program affect the people? Of course, it aims to increase digital literacy. Next, in February 2017, the government announced its intention to come out with a comprehensive plan for recapitalization of public sector lenders with a view to make sure that they remain solvent and fully comply with global capital adequacy norms. What is this program called? The answer is Indradhanush 2.0. Indradhanush mission was launched in 2014 to revive the health of the public sector banks who are suffering due to very high NPAs. Now, one very critical difference over here is Indradhanush is a name shared by government schemes in 2 different sectors, right? So the one we are talking about is banking, right? There is another Indradhanush mission which has been launched and it is linked to immunization, right? So I suggest you go read up on both these schemes of the same name. Next, in February 2017, Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant launched an initiative which will rank states based on their innovations and will be a first of its kind online platform where global innovation index indicators and India-centric data from various states will be updated periodically. what is the name of this initiative? Is India Innovation Index, right? So another question which may be asked is, on which international index is Indian Innovation Index based? Again, the answer would be Global Innovation Index. Next, in February 2017, senior IAS officer Ajay Tyagi was appointed as the new chairman of which of these organizations? So answer is Securities and Exchange Board of India. Most of you have the correct answer as well. Next, in February 2017, Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports launched the Mission 11 Million as a step in the direction of fulfilling Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of making Dash as the sport of choice in India. Right? So Mission 11 Million has been launched to increase the popularity of football in India. The idea is to introduce football in a large number of schools across the country. Next, the unmanned orbiter called Hope, designed by the space agency of which country, will be sent to Mars in 2020, becoming the first mission to Mars from an Arab country. So correct answer is UAE, United Arab Emirates. Right? The name of the orbiter is important, the country is important, right, and the objective also is important, that it will be sent to Mars, possibly to explore the idea of living habitable cities on the Mars. Next, which of the following won the award for the best picture at 89th Academy Awards in February 2017? Okay, the correct answer is Moonlight. Right, so I'm sure most of you have seen the video in which the announcer made the mistake and announced the wrong movie, but actually the winner was Moonlight. Okay, with a new joint venture announced last year with Dash aerospace giant Dassault Aviation. So you have to name the country from which Dassault Aviation is. Anil Ambani's Reliance Group in Feb 2017 announced to get a big slice of the Rafale fighter jet deal, targeting business worth rupees 30,000 crores. So from which country is Dassault Aviation from? Absolutely right. Dassault is a French company. Right. Again, a lot of details to take care of in this particular question. So joint venture of Dassault and Reliance Group. Right. Dassault is providing Rafale fighter jet to the Indian Air Force. Right. Next, which of the following entered into a strategic partnership with Microsoft in Feb 2017, wherein the Indian automaker will leverage latter's connected vehicle technology, or simply speaking, smart cars, right? So like you have smartphones, you will have smart cars in the near future, and the partnership will be between Microsoft and Tata Motors of India. In February 2017, India and which other country signed a MOU for the sustainable development of Sylhet? Right, this is a city, a metropolitan city in this northeastern country with financial aid from India. Right, so Sylhet is located in the country, our neighbor Bangladesh. Next is, what was India's rank in the Index of Economic Freedom report released by the Heritage Foundation, a top American think tank, in Feb 2017? So India ranked pretty poorly, right, and was placed at the 143rd position. In February 2017, the RBI set up an interdisciplinary standing committee on cyber security to review the threats inherent in the existing and emerging technologies. The 11-member committee will be headed by Meena Hemachandra. She is the executive director, one of the executive directors of RBI. Next, in order to provide more choices of investors to Indian entities issuing rupee-denominated bonds abroad, the RBI in Feb 2017 permitted multilateral financial institutes to invest in rupee-denominated bonds, popularly known as Dash, issued by Indian entities. So what are these bonds called? These bonds are known as masala bonds. So any company who wants to raise money from foreign markets can issue bonds. Earlier these bonds would be issued in the local currency, but now such bonds can be issued in Indian rupees also. So the bonds which can be issued by Indian companies abroad, right, in rupee terms are known as masala bonds. Next, in February 2017, the Government of India announced an ambitious scheme to double solar power generation capacity under the Solar Park scheme to 40,000 megawatts by fiscal, that is by which year? Again, the correct answer is option number 1. That is the year 2020. So the government is becoming very ambitious in terms of solar energy production. Next, in February 2017, the Government of India launched an initiative in digital payments called where merchants can accept digital payments even without card swiping machine. Again, a very important question. This initiative is called Bharat QR. QR of course stands for those matrix, dot matrix type codes that you see. QR is a acronym for quick response. Next, who among the following was appointed the chairman of Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal in February 2017? Correct answer here is Justice Abhay Manohar Sapre. Next, Idappi K. Palaniswamy was sworn in as the 13th Chief Minister of which state? So very simple question, right? Very simple question. Palaniswamy of course is from AIADMK. Next, in February 2017, Shurhozeli Lizitsu was sworn in as the 17th Chief Minister of which state of India? He would succeed T.R. Zeliang, who had resigned as Chief Minister following widespread protests over reservation to women in local body elections. Again, most of you have this answer correct as well. Good to see that. The correct answer is Nagaland. Next, who won the Hockey India League in February 2017? The team from Odisha, that is Kalinga Lancers. Kalinga of course is an ancient name of the state of Odisha. Next, again a related question to an earlier question that we did. Which country in February 2017 announced its plans to set up Mars' first mini city? The correct answer is UAE. Next, National Science Day was celebrated on which date to mark the discovery of Raman effect by Indian physicist C.V. Raman? So we are continuing with the trend of having option 1 as the correct answer. Again, in this case also, option 1 is correct, February 28th. Next, in February 2017, India's first integrated heliport was inaugurated in which city? Right, so till now, we've had commercial airports which also cater to helicopters as well, right? But this particular heliport is exclusively to be used for helicopters, and this will be in the city of New Delhi. Next, the International Mother Language Day was observed on which date to promote awareness of linguistic and cultural diversity and multilingualism? Okay, sadly this time it's not option number 1, it's option number 2, that is February 21st. Okay, so that brings me to the end of the presentation, the 83 questions that we've done. I hope you will remember these questions, right? These are very important hand-picked questions. Very likely the same might be repeated in your exams, right? So I'll take your questions now. That's question number 72. Next we take a look at question number 41. Vanshika is asking, what are non-performing assets? So NPAs are assets which are in risk of going into default, right? So this is one category above defaulting. Defaulting means that I've taken a loan from a bank and I'm not able to pay it back, and I finally say I give up and I say I won't be able to pay it back. Technically, let us see the definition of NPA. Now, for example, I have taken a loan from a bank and today is the date of a payment of an installment, right? Of an installment that I have to give back to the bank. Now, if I don't make that installment payment for 90 days after today, that was the date of payment of the installment, I will be classified, or the money that I have taken from the land, or the money that I owe to the bank as of the date, as on today, that money will be classified as a NPA or a non-performing asset. It's question number 71. Gorika, I think I missed yours. 60. This is question number 68. Yes, anyone with any more questions? I'll take them before we end the session. Shraddha, we have one more session planned. That will be, I guess, that is scheduled on 3rd of May as of now, right? So all of the previous sessions, in case some of you have missed those sessions, those are available on YouTube as recordings, of course. Right? Any more questions, guys, before we end the session? Okay, I guess that's it. So I hope you found this presentation helpful. Make sure you revise these questions and concepts. I've given you lots and lots of information today. Make sure you revise them a couple of times, these questions, before you actually sit for the exam. The time is less, and I again repeat myself, this is the perfect time. This is the time that you should be doing maximum number possible of questions, be it general knowledge, legal, English, quant, reasoning, or data interpretation, right? So make sure you're doing a lot of mock tests. These we have a huge database on our website called gk.hitbullseye.com, and you'll find questions on GK, static GK, as well as current GK over there. And as far as the other questions are concerned, again, you can log on to your own account on hitbullseye.com, or the app that you have to do other tests, right? Okay, with that we end the session. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.